Welcome back to the channel, and in this video we're going to look at a football manager tactic that has been consistent until 2033. I think that's the year that we're in right now, 2033 on Football Manager 2024. Now I'm currently managing AS Monaco, and this wasn't the team that I actually started out my save with. So the story is quite simple, and if you look at my manager profile right now, we are currently, let's go back to the job history. I was in charge of Norwich, and I got sacked at Norwich, and then I went to East 5. If you've been following the channel, you probably know how many East 5 videos that I've gone on to make for this channel, and you can find some of them in the video playlist and also in my channel. And I went ahead to manage Motherwell for a few seasons, and then I'm now at Monaco. So the issue now is I'm 10 years into the future, and it's quite tricky to see how you can go ahead and build a tactic for a team. But I've gone on to find out this tactic that has been very, very consistent on Football Manager, and it helped me to actually go on to create this second tactic that we're currently using with AS Monaco. So somewhat in this video, I'm going to show you how to create a tactic for a team that has gone way into the future, in case you're in a much later date in your Football Manager and you need to go out to create a tactic and you're not sure which players you have. Like I have some regions and some real players in here. So we're going to look at how I went on to create this tactic. And for the main tactic that actually has been consistent for a very long time in Football Manager is the 4-2-4 Alhamdulillah tactic. So let me just go ahead and clear everybody here so you can get the gist of the tactic in case you want to go ahead and, recreate it for yourself. It's a very simple tactic. What we have here first in the goalkeeper role is a super keeper on defend duty, and the only instruction for him is to tackle harder. How this tactic goes on to work on Football Manager consistently, it's a mystery to me, to be honest, but it does work. So if you look at the fullback positions, you have wing backs on support duty. Both of them are identical. They have stay wider and then tackle harder instructions selected for them. Your ball playing defenders are both on defend duty. They have been asked to dribble more and then tackle harder. Now, the role that kind of matched my AS Monaco team is the segundo volante role. So they're double segundo volantes here, tackle harder. Those are the only instructions. And then, of course, your inside forwards, they are on attack duty and they've been asked to sit narrower. And I think that's what helps with this space in here. So your players are not just going to attack the opposition's wide areas that much. They're going to try and get into the middle. That kind of creates space for the wing backs, get ahead and try to exploit that space and swing in crosses from there. You have advanced forwards that are going to want to press. When I use a different system with Monaco, my team was very passive out of possession. So I noticed that this Alhamdulillah tactic helped our team to be a bit more aggressive when we're out of possession, so we can go ahead and press teams. So you have advanced forwards on attack. They're also going to be tackling harder. Now, why I like this tactic for Monaco, if you look at my team, looking at the Uber Eats, currently, where are we? Going over to the season preview now. And okay, if you look at the season preview, we're predicted to finish in 7th place last season because I joined mid-season and then we ended up finishing in 6th or so. But we've now been predicted to finish in 5th place. And this tactic has actually been a mystery for us because it's going to help us actually push for the league and try to fight against PSG. So if we're going to push PSG, using a balanced mentality does help when we're playing against them. But against other teams, you can try to be a bit more adventurous and play attacking. Looking at the in possession instructions, you're going to pass it shorter and then play with a high tempo. You're exploiting the flanks and passing into space. Also playing low crosses, but sometimes I like to put this on mixed crosses and also running at defense. In transition, it's not so complicated. The goalkeeper is going to distribute it quickly. Also going to keep the pressing and the counter attacking and also rolling it out. Out of possession, you're high press, but I like the fact that there's a standard defensive line now, so we're not that exposed. Defensively, it has been quite a treat, really. Much more often trigger press and, of course, prevention, goalkeeper distribution and get stuck in. So the tactic that I went on to create that actually gave us a 5-0 victory in the recent game, the friendly here against Wolfsburg, it was honestly, I think I used most of my under 21 players to actually play this game. So you notice the shape that I'm using for this system is not actually the Alhamdulillah tactic. It's a flat 4-4-2. Which is the tactic that I showed you at the beginning of the video. So how we went about creating this tactic, you're going to see that there's less instructions for this system. And looking at the players that I have, I kept my super keeper now as a standard goalkeeper on defense, so no more super keeper. And the wing backs are now fullbacks on automatic duty. I'm still sticking to the principles of the Alhamdulillah tactic, but I'm going to show you how that's possible. You have central defender and ball playing defender on defend, and then you have a deep line playmaker on defend duty, and of course a Metala on support. The reason why I'm selecting these roles, or let's just go by the roles: wing back or winger on attack duty on the left, winger on support duty on the right, and then you have a deep line forward on attack and an advanced forward on attack. So the reason why I selected those roles, if you look at my team, sort every player out by their player abilities. You will find that the very best player in my team is Miguel Patino, and Miguel Patino is a deep lying forward on support duty. He has the ability to play as a deep lying forward on attack, so I went on to pick that role for him. So when I was going over my team, that's what I did. If you look at my players, Patino is also a left-sided striker. So if you look at his player attributes here, he's very strong on his left, so I have my deep lying forward attack playing on the left-hand side. The next best player is Cayetano, and Cayetano is a Spanish deep lying playmaker on defend duty. He likes playing the DM position, but if you look at our formation, we needed to have, like, I could use him as a defensive midfielder in this position, but that didn't really help our balance, so I had to just move him slightly up to play as a defensive midfielder, still on defend, and then have the Mezzala beside him. And looking down at all the other players in my team, I have Samuel Nibombe, and Nibombe is a defensive midfielder playing as an anchorman, very good at that. But he's also a ball-playing defender, so I had to just sacrifice that because his aggression is not very good. So I may not want him to play as a defensive midfielder. I had to just push him to play as a ball-playing defender. While making this video, I just noticed that Samuel Nibombe has finishing 16. How does a defensive midfielder and a ball-playing defender have finishing 16? That's just ridiculous. Like, oh my goodness. How did I not see this before? Moving on then to my goalkeeper in Mickey Mio. Mickey Mio is playing as a standard goalkeeper. The reason why I switched him from sweeper keeper defend, though he's very good at that, to standard goalkeeper is because eccentricity is not really there. And maybe eccentricity is not the most important attribute, but acceleration, because I noticed that sometimes he's going to step out of his line and he doesn't get the ball for some reason. I don't know why. So I just had to move him to play as a standard goalkeeper. So don't step out of the line, just be in your shape. So that's how I went about picking out all the other players. Even Ben Carroll that I signed from a Premier League team. I think it was Burnley. Was it Burnley? No, Southampton. I signed him from Southampton. I brought him in, but he's not going to play as a wing back getting forward or a inverted wing back or anything like that. Just be a standard fullback on automatic, because we're going to try to be solid at the back without being too adventurous, but we're going to find a way to try to score goals. And that kind of helped us get a big win. So that's how I went about creating this tactic. And then if you look at our team instructions, instead of going for extremely high tempo, I'm just going for the slightly higher tempo with shorter passing. And we're passing into space. All the other instructions are disabled, so it's kind of allowing a lot more freedom for my players. So instead of forcing my goalkeeper to distribute it quickly, we're also just countering and playing counter press. I think that works. And it did work for us because I didn't want to have too many instructions. And out of possession, I kept that high press with the standard defensive line and a much more often trigger press, preventing the short goalkeeper distribution and getting stuck in. So these instructions out of possession are quite identical from the Alhamdulillah tactic, and that's what has been really helping us so far. So in case you need to figure out how to create a tactic for your team that is way into the future, you need to just get into your squad and then look at who your players are and what they can do, and then try to find a compromise like I did for Cayetano. He's a very good defensive midfielder, but like we said, he could play in central midfield too. So in order for us to create a balance, we had a 4-4-2 where he's playing on defend duty. And I might have to reconsider Nibombe's role now, because I just noticed that Nibombe, my striker, has the ability to finish. So I might have to ask Sports Interactive to allow me to ask my strike or my centre back to play as a striker. Please, if you know how to do that in Football Manager, let me know in the comment section. If you have an idea about how to ask your centre back to play as a striker when the situation arises, do let me know in the comments. I would like to figure out how that works. So those are the tactics. I will attach a link in the description for you to get the Alhamdulillah tactic. You can just break it down and see how it works out for you. They have team instructions. I think I've gone through them already. So I'm going to attach a link in the description so you can download it and then see how you can use it to tweak your tactic in case you're struggling to score goals. You will get goals if you go on to download this one as it is. You could, if you need a 4-4-2, you can get this tactic. It's actually going to get you a lot of goals. So that's it for this video. If you did enjoy this one, do let me know in the comment section, and also remember to like the video and subscribe to the channel. I'll create more Football Manager tactic videos like this for you guys. I will see you in the next video.